What if the things you typed online started happening in real life? That's the thought that slithered into my mind as I stared at my phone screen, my fingers trembling. It began 3 days ago. I'd left a comment on a TikTok about an unsolved murder, just a stupid joke really. Lol, the killer probably buried the body in the old quarry. The next morning, news broke. A hiker had stumbled upon human remains in Black Rock Quarry. I told myself it was nothing, a fluke. The internet was full of true crime junkies making wild guesses. But then it happened again. A video popped up about a missing couple. Without thinking, I typed, "Bet the wife snapped and drowned him in the bathtub." 2 days later, police confirmed the husband's body was found submerged in a bathroom, water still dripping from his lips. My breath hitched. No way. I was just lucky or unlucky. I didn't know which was worse. I tried to ignore it, but my phone buzzed. Another notification. Another TikTok, this one about a local break-in. The caption read, "Someone's watching this family. Who do you think it is?" My thumb hovered over the keyboard. I shouldn't comment. I knew I shouldn't. But the words spilled out before I could stop them. Probably the quiet guy next door. He gives me creep vibes. As soon as I hit post, my stomach twisted. What had I done? I deleted the comment immediately, my pulse hammering. Maybe it wouldn't count if no one saw it. Maybe the universe had noticed. But the universe always notices. That night, sirens wailed down my street. I pressed my face against the window just in time to see police dragging my neighbor, Mr. Collins, out of this house in handcuffs. His face was blank, his pajamas rumpled. A reporter outside murmured into a camera, "Suspect apprehended in connection with the Harper family burglary." I stumbled back, my legs weak. This wasn't happening. It could be happening. I needed to test it, just one more time, to be sure. I opened TikTok, my fingers shaking as I searched for something harmless. A video about a lost dog. Perfect. I typed, "It'll turn up in the park by the swings tomorrow morning." Then I waited. I didn't sleep. I just stared at my phone, refreshing the local news feed over and over. By sunrise, my eyes burned, but I forced myself to drive to the park. The swing swayed in the cold morning breeze. Empty. Relief flooded me. See? It was all in my head. I was just. A bark cut through the silence. A small terrier trotted out from behind the slide, tail wagging. My blood turned to ice. The owner, a tearful woman, came running. "Max, oh my God, where have you been?" She sobbed into his fur. I backed away, my heart slamming against my ribs. This wasn't coincidence. This wasn't luck. Something was very, very wrong. I deleted the app, threw my phone across the room. If I couldn't comment, it couldn't happen, right? But the thoughts kept coming. What if I'd already set something in motion? What if my words were still out there, ticking like time bombs? My laptop glowed in the dark. Before I could stop myself, I was searching for my old comments. One by one, I read them, my stomach sinking deeper with each one. That teacher always looked like a predator. Someone should check that guy's basement. Bet the mayor's hiding something. Oh God, what had I done? The knock at my door made me jump. I peered through the peephole. A police officer stood on my porch, his face grim. "Ma'am," he said, "we need to ask you a few questions." My mouth went dry. They knew. Somehow they knew. The officer's knuckles rapped against my door again, sharper this time. My breath came in shallow gasps as I pressed my back against the wall, out of sight. If I stayed quiet, maybe he'd think no one was home. "Ma'am," his voice was firm, "we know you're in there. Your car's in the driveway." I swallowed hard. Stupid. Of course they'd see it. My hand shook as I turned the knob. The officer stood there, his badge glinting under the porch light. Another cop waited by the squad car, watching me. "Can I help you?" My voice sounded too high, too nervous. "Mind if we come in?" He didn't wait for an answer, already stepping forward. The walls felt like they were closing in as I led them to my living room. The second cop lingered near the door, his eyes scanning my bookshelves, my laptop, my phone on the coffee table. "You're friends with Mr. Collins, correct?" the first officer asked, pulling out a notepad. And no, I mean, we're neighbors, but I don't really know him. My fingers twisted in my lap. You commented on a video about him recently. My blood turned to ice. I don't know what you're talking about. The cop tapped his pen against his notepad. TikTok. You said he was creepy, that he might be involved in the break-in. How did they know that? I deleted it. Unless someone had screenshot it before I could. It was just a guess, I whispered. A very specific guess. The cop's eyes locked onto mine. Considering we found stolen jewelry hidden in his attic. Jewelry only the family knew was missing. My throat tightened. This wasn't possible. I just typed words. I hadn't made him do anything. You've made other comments like this, haven't you? The second cop spoke for the first time. Predicting things. Things that later came true. I felt dizzy. They weren't just here about Mr. Collins. They were here about everything. I think I need a lawyer, I choked out. The first cop sighed, snapping his notepad shut. That might be a good idea. After they left, I bolted the door and sank to the floor, my whole body trembling. They knew. They knew. I grabbed my phone, my fingers slipping as I opened TikTok. My profile was still there. My comments, my likes, all of it. I scrolled frantically, searching for anything else I might have said, anything that could still happen. Then I saw it. A video from 2 weeks ago. A news clip about a missing girl, and my comment buried under hundreds of others. She's not missing. She's in the woods behind her house. Someone put her there. My stomach lurched. No. I hadn't thought about it when I typed it. It was just another throwaway comment, another guess in the dark. But now I had to know. I drove to the neighborhood from the video, my hands clenched around the wheel. The missing girl's house was at the end of a quiet street, yellow police tape still fluttering around the porch. I parked a block away and slipped into the trees behind her backyard. The woods were thick, the air damp. Every rustle of leaves made my heart stutter. What was I even looking for? Proof that I was right. Proof that I was losing my mind. Then I saw it. A patch of disturbed earth, half hidden under fallen branches. My breath caught. No, it couldn't be. I knelt, my fingers brushing the dirt. Something pale peeked through. Fabric. A piece of a pink sweatshirt. The missing girl had been wearing pink. I scrambled back, my pulse roaring in my ears. This wasn't happening. This could be happening. But it was. I had done this. My hands fumbled for my phone. I had to call the police. I had to tell them. Then a twig snapped behind me. I whirled around. The trees were silent, empty. But someone had been there. Someone had been watching. The woods were too quiet. No birds, no wind. Just the pounding of my own heart as I strained to hear movement. Someone had been there. I was sure of it. I grabbed a fallen branch, gripping it like a weapon. Hello, my voice cracked. No answer. My phone buzzed in my pocket, making me jump. A TikTok notification. Another comment reply. I didn't want to look, but I had to. Used at 3,827. You should check the east side of the clearing. Deeper in. My breath caught. How did they know where I was? I hadn't posted anything. Hadn't tagged my location. Unless they were here, watching me right now. I spun in a slow circle, searching the shadows between the trees. Nothing. But the air felt heavier, like the forest itself was holding its breath. I should run, call the police. But my fingers moved on their own, typing a reply. Who is this? The response came instantly. Used at 3,827. You already know. I stumbled backward, my shoes sinking into the damp earth. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. But the pink fabric still peeked from the dirt. The girl was here, just like I'd said she would be. My phone buzzed again. User 3,827. You're not the only one who can make things happen. A branch snapped to my left. I jerked toward the sound. Branch raised. Still nothing. Then my screen lit up with a new message. A video this time. My thumb hovered over it. I shouldn't click. I knew I shouldn't. I clicked. The video showed a shaky, close-up shot of trees. These trees. The camera panned slowly until it landed on me. My back turned, phone in hand. Filmed from behind. Filmed right now. I whipped around, my pulse screaming in my ears. The trees stood empty, but the video had just been taken. They were here, right here. Another notification, another message. User 3827. You're starting to understand, aren't you? I typed with shaking hands. What do you want? The reply came fast. I want you to keep commenting. Then beneath it, or the next body they find will be yours. The branch slipped from my fingers. I ran. Branches clawed at my arms as I crashed through the woods, my lungs burning. I didn't look back. Couldn't. The image of that video, of someone standing right behind me, seared into my brain. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. I ignored it. Whatever they sent, I didn't want to see. The trees thinned ahead. The street. My car. Almost there. A shadow moved between the trunks to my left. I froze. Nothing. Just my panicked mind playing tricks. I forced my legs to move again, stumbling onto the pavement. My keys were slick with sweat as I fumbled them into the ignition. The engine roared to life. Then I saw it. A figure, standing at the tree line, watching me. Too far to make out a face, but I knew. They knew. My phone buzzed again. I slammed the gas pedal, tires screeching. I didn't check the screen until I was 3 blocks away, parked under a flickering streetlight. One new message. User 3827. You can't run from this. My hands shook so badly I could barely type. Who are you? The reply came faster than before. The person who gave you this gift. Gift? This was a curse. Another message popped up before I could respond. You think it's a coincidence? You think you're the first. I stared at the words. First? There were others like me. The phone buzzed again. A link this time. I tapped it. A TikTok profile loaded at predicts_it_all. The bio read, I know what happens before it does. The most recent video was titled, How many missing people will it take before they notice the pattern? And there, in the comments, my own username, my own words. They'll never figure it out, not until it's too late. Except, I'd never typed that. The screen blurred as my vision tunneled. This wasn't possible. Someone had hacked my account, framed me. But the comment was dated 3 weeks ago, back before any of this started. Before I remembered any of this, my head throbbed. Fragments of memories surfaced, typing things I didn't mean, deleting comments I didn't recall making, like my fingers had moved on their own. A new notification. User 3827. Now you see. I typed back, desperation clawing in my throat. What did you do to me? The reply was a single word. Nothing. Then, you did it to yourself. The streetlight above me flickered again, plunging the car into darkness for one long second. When it came back on, there was a shape in my rearview mirror. Someone in the backseat. I screamed, whirling around. Empty. Just shadows. My phone lit up with the final message. Check your drafts. I opened the app, hands numb. There was one unpublished video in my drafts. A selfie. But it wasn't me. It was user 3827, smiling at the camera with my face. The caption read, Ready for the next one. The face in the video was mine, but not mine. The smile was wrong. Too wide. The eyes too knowing. Like it was wearing my skin, but something else peered out from behind it. My fingers trembled as I tapped the draft's details. Created today. But I'd never filmed this, never seen it before. A knock on my car window made me shriek. A cop stood outside, flashlight beam cutting through the dark. Ma'am, you all right? I shoved my phone into my pocket. Yeah, just parked for a minute. He studied me too long. You're the one from the Collins case, aren't you? My throat tightened. You remember me? Funny thing, he said, voice lowering. We pulled your comment history. Every case you guessed about. The details were exact. Not just close. Exact. The air in the car turned thick. That's impossible. Is it? He leaned closer. Or did you know because you were there? I slammed the gas pedal, The cop shouted as my car lurched forward, his flashlight beam swinging wildly in my rear view. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. They believed I was involved, that I'd done those things. But the video in my drafts, the one with my face, proved something worse. I wasn't just predicting crimes, I was causing them. My phone buzzed from the passenger seat, user 3827 again. They'll never believe you're innocent, not when the evidence is all inside your head. What did that mean? What evidence? Then it hit me. My comments, my thoughts, all sitting there in my TikTok history like a confession. I swerved into my apartment lot, sprinted upstairs, and threw open my laptop. I had to delete everything, every comment, every like. But when I logged in, my stomach dropped. My account was blank. Every post, every comment, gone, except for one new draft. The video loaded. It showed my apartment, my couch, my coffee cup still steaming on the table. Filmed minutes ago. The camera panned to my bedroom door closed, but I'd left it open. I always leave it open. A whisper came through the laptop speakers. You should check the closet. I grabbed the kitchen knife, my pulse a deafening drumbeat as I crept toward the bedroom. The knob turned silently. Darkness inside. The closet door stood ajar. Something shifted inside it. Fabric rustling. A slow, quiet breath. Then my phone buzzed in my hand. User 3827. Say hello to version 2.0. The closet door creaked open wider. A hand reached out. My hand. I stumbled back, knife clattering to the floor. The figure stepped forward, moonlight revealing its face. Mine. Same hair, same clothes, same scar above the eyebrow from when I was 7. It smiled with teeth too white. Surprised? Its voice was mine but wrong, like a recording playback slightly off. What are you? I choked out. You, it said. Just upgraded. It held up its phone. My phone, showing a new TikTok comment typed and ready to post. Tonight at 11:23 p.m., a woman will vanish from her apartment. No one will ever find her. It grinned. Want to guess whose account this is posting from? Its thumb hovered over post. I lunged for the knife. It dodged, laughing, a sound like static and broken glass. Too slow. Its thumb came down. Post sent. The clock on my nightstand read 11:22 p.m. 1 minute left. It tilted its head. I wonder, will it be you? It glanced toward the door. Or me. Then the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the room. I couldn't see her anymore, but I could hear her breathing. Slow, deliberate, closer than she should have been. The glowing numbers on my clock ticked to 11:23. A hand grabbed my wrist. I screamed, yanking back, but her grip was iron. Shh, she whispered, her breath warm against my ear. It's already happening. The apartment door creaked open downstairs. Footsteps, heavy, methodical. Someone else was here. She let go of me suddenly. Game time, she murmured. Who do you think they're here for? The original? A pause. Or the upgrade? The footsteps reached the stairs. I dropped to the floor, crawling toward where I remembered the knife had fallen. My fingers brushed cold metal. Just as the bedroom door burst open, a flashlight beam cut through the dark, blinding me. Police, a voice barked. Hands where I can see them. I froze. The cop from earlier. He followed me. But when the light swung away, I saw her standing calmly in the corner, hands raised. Officer, she said, voice dripping with fake relief. Thank God. She just attacked me. The beam snapped back to me, knife glinting in my hand. The cop's gun rose. Drop it. Now. No, wait, I choked out. That's not me, she's. The flashlight flickered. For half a second, the light caught her face, and her smile stretched too wide, lips splitting at the edges. Then darkness again. A gunshot cracked the air. I flinched, but no pain came. When the flashlight steadied, the cop was on the ground, blood blooming across his shirt. She stood over him, holding his gun. Oof, she said, tilting her head. Guess he chose wrong. The clock ticked to 11:24. She sighed. Technically, you did vanish at 11:23. Just not the way the comment said. Her grin returned. Funny how words work, huh? The cop gurgled at her feet. She knelt, pressing the gun into his limp hand. Suicide, they'll think. After realizing he shot an innocent woman, she glanced at me. Well, mostly innocent. I lunged for the door. She didn't stop me, just called after me, sing-song. Where will you go? Your face is on every cop's phone now. Your comments, evidence. I stumbled down the stairs, her laughter chasing me. My car keys were still in my pocket. I could run, disappear. But as I shoved open the building's front door, red and blue lights flooded the street. 3 squad cars, 6 officers, all with guns drawn. One shouted, "That's her, the one from the videos." I turned and saw her waving from my apartment window, my face, my clothes, holding up a phone with a new TikTok draft. Tonight's finale, a fugitive's dramatic last stand, live at midnight. The officers cocked their weapons. The clock struck 11:30. I ran, not toward the cops, not toward the street, into the alley, the one place the body cam footage wouldn't follow. My phone buzzed. I didn't want to look, had to look. User 3827 had posted a new video. It showed me her, standing in my apartment, holding a bloody knife, crying. "Please," she sobbed to the camera, "she's still out there, the real one. Stop her before she hurts anyone else." The caption, "Help me." Comments poured in. They need to find this psycho. Shared to my neighborhood watch. Hope they shoot on sight." I slumped against the alley wall, sliding down until gravel bit my knees. She'd won. I was already gone. Then, a new notification, not from TikTok. An email. Subject line, "You're not the first." The message was one sentence. "Meet me where they found the terrier. 15 minutes, or become what she says you are." I stared at the words. The park. The swings, where my first prediction came true. A trap, or a way out. The phone buzzed again. User 3827. Running won't save you. I'm in your head now. I stood, wiping dirt from my palms. Maybe. But if I wasn't the first, someone else knew how this ended. The park was empty when I got there. Streetlights buzzed overhead, casting long shadows from the swings. The air smelled like rain and wet metal. I checked my phone. No new messages. No signs of anyone watching. Had they changed their mind? Was this another trick? Then I saw it. A figure sitting on the farthest swing, rocking slowly back and forth. Hood up, hands tucked in their pockets. I stepped closer, heart hammering. "You sent the email?" They didn't look up. "You shouldn't have come here." A woman's voice, tired, familiar. "You said I wasn't the first." Finally, she lifted her head. I gasped. It was the cop, the one from the true crime TikTok I commented on weeks ago. The one who'd been investigating the missing girl, except now her face was gone, her eyes hollow, like she hadn't slept in months. "You?" I whispered. "You're her, the detective from the video where you said the girl was in the woods." She finished. "Yeah. And guess what? She was." She stood, pulling something from her pocket, a phone. She turned the screen toward me. A TikTok comment from an account named at knows_2_much. The detective's hiding something. She was the last one to see the girl alive. Posted 3 days before the girl vanished. "Sound familiar?" she asked. I stared at the screen. "That's not possible. I never." "You didn't post it," she interrupted. "She did. The other you. The one they make." "They?" The detective glanced around, then grabbed my arm, pulling me toward the trees. "We don't have much time. They're always watching." "Who is?" "The ones who feed on this." She tapped her phone. "The comments, the predictions, the chaos. They're why it keeps happening." Her grip tightened. "Why we keep happening." A twig snapped behind us. We both froze. The detective's voice dropped to a whisper. "They're here." The swings creaked in the breeze. Empty. But the air felt heavier, like the night itself was holding its breath. "Listen carefully," the detective hissed. "They latch onto people like us. People who notice things. Who guess too close to the truth. Then they make copies. Versions that play along. Why? Because the more we predict, the more they feed. The more real it becomes. She shoved her phone into my hands. Check your drafts. Now. I opened the app, fingers shaking. There it was, a new video. Not posted, not saved, just there. It showed the park, the swings. Filmed from the trees. Filmed right now. The caption, 2 desperate women, 1 gun, who walks away. I looked up just as the detective pulled a pistol from her waistband. They want a story, she whispered, so we're gonna give them one. She pressed the gun into my hand. Shoot me. What? Not really. Just enough to make it look real. They need to think you won. Her eyes darted to the trees. It's the only way to break the cycle. My fingers curled around the cold metal. How do you know this will work? Because I tried everything else. She grabbed my shoulders. And you're my last chance too. A rustle in the bushes. Closer this time. She didn't flinch. Do it. Now. I raised the gun. Closed my eyes. Pulled the trigger. The shot echoed through the park. The detective collapsed, clutching her shoulder. Fake blood. It had to be fake. Bloomed across her shirt. For a second, nothing happened. Then my phone buzzed. User 3827. Predictable. A new notification popped up. A TikTok live stream. It showed me standing over the detective, gun smoking in my hand. The caption, "The killer wins again." Comments flooded in. Holy shit, that's the girl from the news. Someone called the cops. She's at Willow Park. I dropped the gun. No, this wasn't the plan. The detective groaned, rolling onto her side. It never is, she muttered. Then her eyes locked onto something behind me. Run. I turned. A figure stood at the edge of the trees. Not her, not my double. Something taller, thinner, watching, smiling. Part 12. The detective grabbed my ankle. Don't look at it, just go. I stumbled back as the thing in the trees took a step forward. Its movements were wrong, jerky, like a glitching video. My phone buzzed again. I didn't check it. Didn't need to. I already knew. The story wasn't over. And the next comment, the next prediction, would be mine. The thing in the trees didn't chase me. It didn't have to. Because as I ran, my phone kept buzzing. Not with notifications, but with drafts. Videos I hadn't filmed. Comments I hadn't typed. She'll head for the river. It's where they always drown. The detective isn't dead. She's calling for backup. They'll find the gun in her hand. Proof it was self-defense. I skidded to a stop under a broken streetlight, gasping for air. The words were writing themselves now, appearing letter by letter as if typed by invisible fingers. Then a new draft loaded. A video of me, filmed moments ago, running through the park. The caption, live footage of the Willow Park killer fleeing the scene. Except, I hadn't been holding my phone. Someone else had. A car door slammed nearby. Voices shouted, cops. They'd seen the live stream. I ducked behind a dumpster, pressing my back against cold metal. The river was close. I could hear it, but that's where the comments said I'd go, where I drown. So I did the one thing they wouldn't predict. I stood up, walked straight toward the voices. Hands raised. I surrender, I called out, voice raw. Silence. Then flashlights blinded me. On the ground. Now. I knelt, forehead pressing into the pavement. This was it. The end of their story. Except, one cop's radio crackled. Units be advised, we got another sighting. Female suspect at the river, armed. My head jerked up. That's impossible. I breathed. I'm right here. The cops hesitated. One grabbed my arm, yanking me to my feet. You got a twin or something? Before I could answer, his partner's phone buzzed. A new TikTok video. It showed her, my double standing knee-deep in the river, holding the detective's gun. The caption, you can't outrun fate. Then the video glitched. For one frame, one single impossible frame, the figure in the water wasn't human. It was them. The thing from the trees, smiling. The cops dragged me toward a squad car, but I twisted free. You don't understand. She's not. It's not real. One officer drew his taser. Ma'am, Don't make this worse. A gunshot rang out from the river. Then another. The cops spun toward the sound, shouting into radios. I didn't wait. I ran. Not toward the river, not toward the cops. Toward the one place none of the comments had mentioned. The old church on 3rd Street. The one place user 3827 had never posted about. The church doors were unlocked. Inside, candles flickered, casting long shadows across empty pews. I collapsed at the altar, gasping. Safe. For now. Then my phone lit up. A direct message from user 3827. Clever girl. Another notification. A new draft. This one showed the church interior, the candles, the pews, and me kneeling exactly where I was now. The caption, Final Confession. I looked up. The front doors creaked open. A silhouette stepped inside. Not my double, not the cops. Something older. Something that had been waiting a long, long time for this. It didn't speak, didn't have to, because in its hand was a phone. My phone, showing a new comment being typed in real time. In the end, she'll beg for it to stop. My lips moved on their own, voice barely a whisper. Please. The comment finished itself, but it never does. The candles blew out. Darkness swallowed everything, including me. The darkness didn't lift. It pressed in like a living thing, thick and suffocating. I couldn't see my own hands in front of me, couldn't hear my own panicked breaths. Then light. A single candle flickered to life at the far end of the church, illuminating it. The thing stood perfectly still, its face just beyond the candle's glow. I could make out the edges, 2 long fingers curled around my phone, the faintest glint of eyes that didn't blink. What do you want? My voice cracked. The phone screen brightened in its grip. A new TikTok notification. User 3827. You know what we want. The words weren't typed. They appeared letter by letter, as if the app itself was alive. We want the story to keep going. The candle flame sputtered. Shadows twisted up the walls, forming shapes, figures. Dozens of them, all watching. I realized with a sick jolt, I wasn't the first. The detective hadn't been either. We were just the latest post in a feed that never ended. The thing took a step closer. The floorboards didn't creak. Stop, I whispered. It tilted its head. The phone screen changed, showing a new comment box. Say it again, it typed for me, louder. My lips moved against my will. Stop. The comment posted instantly. Somewhere in the city, a car's brakes failed. Metal screamed. Glass shattered. The thing smiled. No, I dug my nails into my palms. I won't play anymore. The candle flared. The shadows surged forward, wrapping around my ankles like vines. The phone screen lit up again. But you already are. It showed my profile, my latest post, a video I didn't remember filming. It was me, in the church, right now. The caption, watch what happens next. The view count climbed. 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Comments poured in. Is this real? She's gonna die, isn't she low? Someone called the cops. The thing leaned down, its breath like static against my ear. Everyone's waiting, it whispered. Don't you want to give them a good show? The candle went out. In the dark, the phone's glow was the only light. It hovered in front of me, displaying a new draft. A video of my own face, eyes wide with terror. The caption pulsed like a heartbeat. Final scene. I reached for it, not to post, to smash. My fingers closed around the phone, and the screen changed. A live feed. The church, from above. I looked up. Something moved in the rafters, something with too many eyes. The phone buzzed one last time. A message from user 3827, roll credits. The shadows rushed in. The last thing I heard was the sound of my own voice, not from my mouth, but from the phone, already narrating the next story. You'll never guess what happens next. Then nothing. I woke up in my bed. Sunlight streamed through the curtains. My phone sat innocently on the nightstand. No notifications, no drafts, just normal. I grabbed it, Hands shaking, and opened TikTok. My profile looked untouched. No strange posts, no eerie comments. Had it all been a nightmare? Then I noticed it. One new follower, at user 3827. Their bio, see you in the next one. And beneath it, a single video. Posted 3 seconds ago. I didn't click. Didn't need to, because I already knew it would be my face staring back. Smiling, ready to begin again. The phone burned in my hands. I couldn't look away from that video thumbnail. My own face, grinning like it knew a secret. My thumb hovered over it. If I didn't press play, maybe it wouldn't be real. Maybe none of this would be. Then the screen changed. The video started by itself. My own voice spilled from the speakers. You shouldn't have ignored the notification. The footage showed me, but not me, standing in my bedroom mirror. The reflection's mouth kept moving even as the real me on camera stood frozen. They gave you a gift, it said, tilting its head, and you wasted it. A knock at my apartment door. 3 sharp raps. The me in the video smiled. Too late now. The knocking came again, louder. I muted the phone, but the video kept playing, the reflection me now pressing his palm against the glass, like it was trying to push through. Another knock. This time it wasn't at the door. It came from my closet. A slow, deliberate tap, tap, tap. The phone vibrated. A new message from a user 3827. Let us in. I backed toward the window, my pulse roaring. The closet door rattled. Something heavy thudded against it from inside. The video changed. Now it showed my closet interior, pitch black except for 2 pinpricks of light. Eyes. Watching. The caption flashed. Don't you want to meet the real me? My legs gave out. I collapsed against the wall as the closet door creaked open, just a crack. Cold air seeped through the gap, carrying a smell like wet earth and something metallic. The phone screen dimmed. The video ended. Silence. Then, a whisper from inside the closet. You were supposed to keep playing. The door flew open. Nothing there, just my coat swaying gently, until one of them turned toward me. The hood lifted, no face underneath, just darkness, and that voice again, coming from everywhere at once. Now we have to start over. I lunged for the bedroom door. It wouldn't budge, locked from the outside. The closet's darkness spread, swallowing the floorboards, the walls, the ceiling. The last thing I saw was my phone, screen bright with a new notification. At user 3827 has started a live stream. Watch what happens when you break the rules. Then the dark took me too. I woke up scrolling. TikTok glowed in my hands, my thumb moving on its own, liking videos. Commenting. That missing hiker? Check the abandoned mine shaft. The husband did it. He always does. I tried to stop typing. Couldn't. My body wasn't mine anymore. The screen switched to the front camera. I smiled without meaning to. Behind me, in the reflection, something stood in the closet doorway, watching, waiting for its turn. The last notification popped up as the clock struck midnight. At user 3827 has followed you. Their message appeared as my fingers typed out one final comment. This is how the story really ends. I hit post. Somewhere, a new video went live. Somewhere, another girl woke up screaming. And the cycle began again. The moment my finger lifted from the screen, I felt it. Something slithering into my mind like oil through water. My thoughts weren't mine anymore. My hands moved without me telling them to. Typing another comment under a news clip about a missing child. Check the storm drain on 5th. He's still crying. I tried to scream. No sound came out. My phone buzzed with a reply from a user 3827. Good, you're learning. The screen flickered. The news clip changed, now showing a grainy nighttime shot of the storm drain. A small hand visible in the darkness. My body walked to the window without my permission. Outside, sirens wailed in the distance, heading toward 5th Street. I fought against whatever held me, thrashing inside my own skull. For one glorious second, my finger twitched. Mine again. I smashed my phone against the edge of the table. The screen cracked, but didn't break. A new notification appeared through the spiderweb glass. That was rude. My head snapped toward the mirror. My reflection didn't move. It stared back with black eyes, lips curling into a smile I didn't make. "You'll have to try harder than that," it mouthed. Then my body turned and walked to the kitchen. My hand pulled a knife from the block. The reflection's voice slithered into my ears. "Let's give them something really worth watching." My traitorous fingers opened a new TikTok draft. The camera faced me, capturing the knife in my hand, my face twisted in silent horror. The reflection typed the caption, "Do you think she'll do it?" I felt my arm raising the knife. Not toward my wrist, not toward my throat, toward my left eye. The doorbell rang. My body froze. The knife trembled an inch from my eyeball. The reflection snarled, "Ignore it." But whatever controlled me faltered for half a second, just long enough for me to scream. "Help!" Wood splintered as someone kicked in the front door. Heavy footsteps rushed in. My reflection's face went slack with shock. The knife clattered to the floor as my body crumpled, my mind slamming back into control. I gasped, tears streaming down my face. Standing in my doorway was the detective from the park, bloody bandage on her shoulder, gun drawn. "Found you," she panted, before they could. She yanked me to my feet as my phone erupted with notifications. The screen flashed. User 3827 was live. The detective didn't hesitate. She grabbed the phone and hurled it against the wall. The screen shattered, but the live feed kept playing, now glitching between two images. My empty apartment. A dark room where dozens of people stood motionless, phones in hand, each with my face. The detective pulled me toward the door. "They're coming. We have one chance." As we ran, my cracked phone speaker hissed a final message. "You can't escape the algorithm." Somewhere, a new phone dinged. A new user opened TikTok, and the cycle began again. The detective's car smelled like blood and gunpowder. She drove with one hand, the other clutching her wounded shoulder. "They've been doing this for years," she hissed, planting thoughts, making people into puppets. Rain pounded the windshield as I watched my apartment disappear behind us. Why us? Because we notice. She swerved onto the highway. The more you question, the more they want you silenced, or worse, recruited. Her phone buzzed. A TikTok notification. She threw it out the window without looking. In the rearview mirror, headlights appeared. Too many, closing fast. "They're coming." The detective's knuckles whitened on the wheel. "Hold on." The car lurched onto an exit ramp. Tires screeched behind us as the pursuing vehicles matched the move. My body locked up as I saw the drivers, not people. Not really. Their faces were smooth masked, their movements synchronized like glitching video. The detective pulled a second phone from her jacket. "Only way out is to break the pattern." She handed it to me. "Type exactly what I say." The screen showed a blank TikTok comment box. "The detective knows where the bodies are buried," she dictated. I typed. Posted. Silence. Then, the lead pursuing car swerved violently and smashed into a guardrail. The detective bared her teeth. Now they're fighting each other. Her phone buzzed. A new notification. At user 3827 has joined the chase. The road ahead shimmered. The rain stopped midair. Something stepped onto the highway. Tall, thin, made of static and bad reception. The detective slammed the brakes. "Close your eyes." I barely got them shut when the light hit, blinding white, burning through my eyelids. The car skidded, tipped, then landed upright. Silence. I opened my eyes. We were parked outside a dingy motel. No pursuing cars, no thing on the road. The detective's hands shook as she turned to me. It worked, for now. She nodded to the backseat. "Get the box." Inside was an old vest tape labeled "Watch Me." "The only thing they fear," she whispered. "The one story that can end this." The motel tip turned on by itself. Static hissed. "Play me." The vest tape felt alive in my hands, warm, pulsing like a heartbeat. The motel room smelled of mildew and something metallic, the flickering neon sign outside casting blood-red shadows through the curtains. The detective jammed the tape into the ancient Fugger. "This was filmed in 1987, she whispered. Back when they first figured out how to jump from TIFF static to digital, the machine word to life. It's the only recording of them, the only proof of what they really are. Static filled the screen. Then, a family living room, shag carpet, wood paneled walls, a young girl in a yellow sundress facing the camera, except her eyes were black. Fully black. Her mouth opened, but the voice that came out wasn't human. "You should be watching this." The detective grabbed my arm. "Don't look away, no matter what." On screen, the girl's head jerked sideways. The camera panned to show her parents on the couch. Faces frozen in silent screams, their bodies twisted at impossible angles. The girl's neck cracked as she turned back to the camera. "We were happy in the static," the voice hissed through her. "But you had to make us high definition." The footage glitched. For one frame, I saw them, a writhing mass of limbs and screens where the family had been. The motel tip began smoking. The detective yanked the tape out. The screen went dark. Outside, car doors slammed. Too many, too fast. She pressed the tape into my hands. "They're coming. Run to room 13. Play it again." "What about you?" Her smile was grim as she drew her gun. "I'll hold them off." The first window shattered as I fled down the hallway. Room 13's door was already open. Inside, another TV glowed with static. Waiting. Hungry. The tape slipped into the VIR with a sickening click. This time, the footage showed me, standing in this same motel room, holding this same tape. The on-screen me turned to the camera, eyes black. "You don't get it yet, do you?" it whispered. "There is no room 13. I whirled around. The door was gone. The walls were melting into static. And the thing from the highway stood behind me, its face a shifting collage of everyone I'd ever doomed with my comments. It reached out, not to attack, to hand me a phone. Live stream already running. Caption: "Watch as she finally understands." The detective's voice crackled from the phone speaker, but it wasn't her voice anymore. "You were never the prey," it gurgled. "You were the bait." The screen showed her outside, gun empty, surrounded by figures with glitching faces. One of them raised its hand, typed in midair, hosted an invisible comment. The detective's head snapped back. Her mouth opened in a silent scream as her body rewound like bad footage. Backward steps retracing, blood unspilling from her wound, until she stood perfectly still. A new notification popped up. At user 3827 has followed detective_Martinez. The thing in the motel room smiled. "Welcome to the team." The walls dissolved into pixels. I was back in my apartment. Phone in hand. TikTok open. A new draft waiting. Tonight at 3:33 a.m. Someone will disappear without a trace. Guess who? My finger hovered over post. The clock read 3:32. Somewhere, a new victim's phone buzzed with a notification. The cycle never ends. It only evolves. My finger trembled over the post button. 3:32 glowed on the clock. 1 minute left to decide, to play their game or break it. Then my phone buzzed. A direct message from an unknown number. "Look under your bed." The air left my lungs. I hadn't checked there since this nightmare began. I dropped to my knees, peeling back the dusty bedskirt. A single vis tape, identical to the one from the motel. This one labeled the truth. The TV turned on by itself. Static hissed, the screen flickering between snow and something moving underneath it. I shoved the tape into the VIR. For 3 seconds, nothing. Then the detective's face appeared, blood trickling from her nose. "If you're seeing this, I failed," she whispered. "But there's still a way out. You have to." The footage glitched. When it returned, she was gone. In her place stood me, but not me. This version wore a smile like a slit throat. "She was wrong," it said. "There is no way out, only through." The screen cut to a live feed of my bedroom. Filmed from inside my closet, I spun toward the closet door, slightly ajar. Had I left it like that? A shadow moved inside. The TV volume blasted to max, drowning my gasp with the sound of white noise. The closet door creaked open another inch. My phone lit up with a new notification. At user 3827 has shared your location. Comments poured in. She's live right now. Someone call the cops. This is so staged low. The closet door flew open. Nothing there. Just my coats, my shoes, and a single blinking red light. A camera pointed at my bed. Filming this whole time. The TV screen changed to show the feed from that camera, me standing frozen, staring into the closet. The caption, "Do you see yourself yet?" I lunged forward, ripping the camera from the shelf. The moment my fingers touched it, the screen flickered. A video played. Me, sleeping, while something crawled out of my closet. Something wearing my face. The camera slipped from my hands. The TV switched to a new live stream. My building's lobby. Police officers pouring in. Guns drawn. My phone buzzed with a final message. Choose. The cops. Or us. The closet door slammed shut behind me, then opened again. Empty. But the camera feed now showed a figure standing behind the kneeling me, raising a knife. The clock struck 3:33. I didn't turn around. I already knew what I'd see. Instead, I did the one thing they'd never expect. I smiled and typed a new comment. The twist? She was never the victim. Hit post. The knife froze midair. The figure behind me whispered a single horrified word. No. Because the game only works if you believe you're the prey. And I stopped believing a long time ago. The knife clattered to the floor behind me. The thing wearing my face stumbled back, its stolen features twisting in confusion. The live feed on my phone glitched violently, comments disappearing, the view count scrambling into nonsense numbers. I kept smiling. You forgot one rule, I said, picking up the knife. Stories need an ending. The walls pulsed like a heartbeat. The closet door slammed shut, then opened again, revealing an endless tunnel of identical doors stretching into darkness. A whisper echoed from inside. You don't know what you've done. My phone screen cracked down the middle. Black liquid oozed from the fissure, hissing as it hit the carpet. The thing that had been mimicking me clutched at its face, fingers sinking into melting flesh. You're right, I said, stepping closer. I don't know. But you do. The floor trembled. Outside, the cop's shouts cut off mid-sentence. The TV screen exploded in a shower of glass and static. From the wreckage, a single vis tape slid across the floor toward me, labeled, "Your turn." The thing that wasn't me let out a wet, gurgling scream. Stop. You'll kill us both. I crouched to pick up the tape. No, just you. The moment my fingers touched it, the room dissolved into pixels. I stood in a vast, endless space, walls made of flickering screens, each showing a different version of me typing comments, making predictions, playing God. At the center stood a throne of tangled cables, and on it, the first me, the one who started this. She looked up from her phone, eyes hollow with centuries of watching. Took you long enough, she croaked. The screens around us flashed warnings. She laughed, a sound like breaking glass. They thought they could control stories, but stories change. She held out a skeletal hand. In it, a single key labeled end. You know what to do. I took the key. The moment I touched it, every screen went black. Then, one by one, they began displaying the same message. Comment deleted. Post removed. Account terminated. The throne crumbled. The first me dissolved into dust. The ground fell away. And I woke up in my bed. Morning light streamed through the curtains. My phone sat on the nightstand, screen dark. No notifications, no drafts. I reached for it with shaking hands, opened TikTok. My profile was gone, like I'd never existed. I let out a breath I'd been holding for years. Then my laptop dinged. A single email. Subject, welcome to your new role. Body. The cycle continues. With 3,827, the screen flickered. For 1 second, my reflection winked. Final part. I deleted the email, poured coffee, scrolled through the morning news. A headline caught my eye. Missing hiker found alive in abandoned mine shaft. My fingers twitched. Just once. Then opened a new tab. Typed tiktok.com/signup. Because stories don't end. They just change authors.